What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 211 of the Tastecast, our weekly podcast where we talk about all things gaming. I almost want to say monthly podcast because last month we ran an experiment and we only did short form content, and it was interesting. We got some results, but here we are back to do a Tastecast. My name's Seth. Of course, joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, how you doing since the last Tastecast, which was like a month ago? And yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, so hopefully you're in good spirits. You said you're a little low energy, but that's I mean, it's
in all fairness, I
1
just got
a.m.
done eating a bunch of carbs, so
Oh, dude, fucking that carbs wreck me, dude. Anytime I eat enough carbs, it feels like I've been poisoned or something. I'm just like out for like 2 hours.
yeah, I've been on a bad donut kick lately, so I had some donuts and
That'll do it.
they're sitting in my stomach nice and heavy now. So
I had a energy drink, so I'm fucking ready to go.
Nice,
Also, since last week, everybody who's been following knows I had a tooth thing, had to get a root canal, which was a fucking wild experience. The recovery after that was pretty smooth, but I feel like almost completely back to normal now after everything. So I'm happy to finally give some energy, because last week when we filmed, I was just like, I don't want to do anything, but
yeah,
feeling better. So I'm stoked to be able to have some energy. Yeah, so good, doing good.
yeah. I mean,
Outside of carbs,
since the last time I couldn't give you a comparison. My memory, unfortunately, is not that great. But
sure, it never happened. All right, well, let's jump into this. So this is the first Tastecast of the month. That means we got to talk about game releases before we jump into what we've been playing. This is via thegamer.com, so we're going to talk about games we're excited for, not excited for, and anything in between. And if there's any errors, that's their fault, not mine. So let's just jump into it. So we are in September, which is wild. The year's just fucking flying by. This year has felt so short to me. And so, yeah, let's jump into it. September 3rd, we got Parcel Core, a Corp, on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on September 3rd as well. We got Prison Architect 2, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on the 3rd as well. Quidditch Champions, almost a championship, which you guys should be playing for PlayStation Plus right now. We're going to be talking about that on Plus Club on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. Wow, it's on everything. Also on the 3rd, we got the casting of Frank Stone, which I believe is the Dead by Daylight game. PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. I've been hearing some mixed things on that game. On the 4th, we got Age of Mythology Retold on Xbox Series and PC. Then on the 6th, we got Ace Attorney Investigations Collection on PS4 and Switch. Also on the 6th, we got Astrobot on PS5. And then on the 9th, we got Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Then on the 10th, we got Yars Rising on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. I haven't seen Xbox One in a while.
true.
I guess it was up here, but you don't see that name very often anymore. But I guess all the Xboxes are basically Xbox. So September 12th, we got Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. What the fuck is that? PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. Then on the 12th as well, we got Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics on PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. September 13th, we got Funko Fusion, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And then on the 13th as well, we got Slender the Arrival on PSVR 2. I guess that makes sense. That reminds me, Phasmophobia is coming out on console, I think, next month, and it's going to have full PSVR 2 support and stuff like that. It's hilarious because a year ago on TikTok, it was supposed to come out on October, and I made a fucking TikTok about it, and I still, to this day, get people going like, where's it at, dude? And I'm like, I don't work for them. They fucking delayed it a year, so when that game finally comes out on console, I'll be so happy. I don't have to hear about it anymore. On September 17th, The Plucky Squire on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. That sounds like a PS Plus game. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster comes out on September 18th. I didn't realize that was coming out so soon. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC on the 18th as well. UFO 50 on PC. Can't wait for that. September 19th, Enotria, the last song. That word really kind of fucking scrambled my brain. PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And then on the 19th as well, God of War Ragnarok comes out on PC. For all my PC players who are not on console, that's a big get, so make sure to check that out. September 24th, Greedfall 2, The Dying World. I didn't realize that was coming out so soon either. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. And then on the 24th, 24th, Aura History Untold on PC, not on Xbox. I thought that was coming out on both. And that's that strategy 4X type game, I think. So, yeah. On the 24th, we got Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. And then Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. We got a lot of repops, rebrushed, everything. Remaster, what was the other one? The Retold. Yeah. All the Re's are coming out on September 25th. PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. Then on the 25th as well, Earth Defense Force, World Brothers 2 on PS4, PS5, Switch. And then the 26th, we got The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom on Switch. Which one is that?
I don't know. I didn't know there was a Zelda coming out.
I didn't either. Maybe it's incorrect, and that's the gamer's fault, not mine. And then the last game coming out this month is on September 27th, and that is Reynadis?
Sure.
PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. Chevy, what games have you picked up? What games are you planning on picking up? And is there anything you're offended it exists?
Well, that latter one, that'd be crazy if that was ever a thing. Let's see. I haven't picked up anything yet because I'm broke. But
that's fair. You got a big trip coming up?
I do. I am interested, though, in Age of Mythology Retold. I am interested in picking up Astrobot. I am interested in picking up Aura. And I'm also interested in picking up Lollipop Chainsaw Repop because I never played the original.
Me neither. That game's got like a weird cult following.
Yeah, and I'm just curious if anything about that one. And then I would implore. I can't think of the word right now. God of War Ragnarok. It's like one of the few games ever platinumed. You should play that.
I would pressure and shame people to play it.
Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know what Earth Defense Force World Brothers 2 is. I assume it's an offshoot.
The sequel to World Brothers, and it is a like voxel-based, pixely Earth Defense Force. I never played the first one because I thought it was kind of gimmicky looking.
Just get 6. It just came out.
Yeah, true.
What else? I think that's it for me, which is actually quite a lot for this month.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm curious about the casting of Frank Stone, although I'm hearing really mixed things about that. I'm curious about Age of Mythology Retold. I have to pick up Astrobot this Friday. Warhammer, because I've been hearing fantastic things about that. And I was not even surprised by that. I fucking love all the tech demos. They're always fun. I'm always like, I want these to be full games. They made one, and everyone's like stoked about it. I see some people like defending the game too. I'm like, no one's attacking it. This like it's just fucking anyone who's playing it is enjoying it. That's all I see. So, yeah, I really am excited to try that out. Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, I just picked up and I've been playing that. I'll talk about that in a second, what we've been playing. I'm curious about Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Is that the one? No? Oh, the other...
Because that's Marvel vs. Capcom.
No, you're right. I'm thinking of the one you said comes out
next
in April.
year.
Yeah. That one fucking looks good. Never mind. Fuck that thing. I don't want to play that. Okay, so Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster I'm curious about. I don't know how much they've done in the remaster, but I am definitely curious about it. God of War Ragnarok I probably wouldn't pick up just because I already beat it, but definitely suggest people check it out if they haven't. Greedfall 2 I'm curious about, although I feel like that's going to come out on PlayStation Plus at some point, so probably don't have to pick it up unless like reviews are so fucking hyped on it that I have to pick it up. But
right.
That's like a big RPG, so I don't know if I have time for that. Aura History Untold I'm also curious about, although I'm pretty sure I can just play that on Game Pass, so I guess I don't have to buy that. Unless I really like it, then I will. Let's see. Is that it? I'm kind of curious about Earth Defense Force, but I literally have 6, and I've only put like 4 or 5 hours into that. So if I'm feeling Earth Defense Forcey, I will just play that. So
if you're feeling like the mighty infantry.
Yeah. And then worth mentioning, I'm playing Quidditch Champions, as we both should be.
We are obligated to play.
But I can't reveal what I think of that. So Yeah, pretty packed month. Although I think the heaviest hitters are already out with Astrobot and Warhammer. So
I mean, I would agree with that.
otherwise, it's pretty relaxed. Although there's a lot of things I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of remasters, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, nothing I'm necessarily like chomping at the bit to play, except for Astrobot. I definitely want to check that out. So.
That's like a must play for me. Everybody's just like going nuts and saying like it's like a fucking great platformer and all this stuff, which I expected. So, and then if you like PlayStation, it's a fun way to kind of celebrate the brand of PlayStation. So.
I keep seeing all these devs too. They're like advertising the game and they're like, look out for our character in the game, because I guess they used a ton of characters from other IPs and stuff. So
that reminds me to add a game to my games that I've been playing, also what's his name, John something, the guy who was the lead dude of Studio Bend, who made Days Gone. He actually kind of fired some shots at Bend because he left, because they put Deacon St. John from that game in Astrobot, and he's like, way to celebrate the legacy of that character by having him just in Astrobot. He's upset because he wanted to originally make a trilogy for Days Gone,
right? And
that never happened, and so he left. And then he was kind of saying like Bend is basically kind of like wasting his character in Astrobot. It came off kind of, I get his frustration, but
a bit salty though.
But it also came off like they're a PlayStation studio. Why wouldn't they have one of their characters in fucking Astrobot?
Yeah, for sure. So. I mean, I can kind of vaguely understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I think you need to be realistic when you're working for a company that owns the thing you're making.
Yeah.
So
well, and he left and he's working on some other game, but also like same thing for Concord and every other game right now that like people are, or Ubisoft is literally in talks of like how to handle the amount of money they're losing right now, and they're thinking about going private or selling things or all sorts of fucking options they're having internally right now because the Star Wars game Outlaws didn't sell as well as they wanted. And just like him and all these people, it's like, yeah, you're upset your game didn't sell. That's got to suck, right? But when you start like getting upset that people didn't buy your game, there's got to be factors other than like people just didn't give your game a try. Like Concord, most Ubisoft games now, and Days Gone. Days Gone came out at like the end of the zombie hype. There's so many zombie games already, and like that's why I didn't fucking play it when it first came out. And so he like blamed consumers for not picking up the game originally.
Yeah, so
and it's like you don't get to do that though because you're the guy trying to sell something. Nobody owes you shit, so you got to make.
Yeah,
something
I was gonna say like you don't get to tell people they're obligated to buy your product.
Yeah. And that's something I've been saying for fucking ever when it comes to all these like big companies trying to sell games and getting upset when they don't sell. It's like you're confused because like this isn't just like your art that everybody has to fucking celebrate. It's like you're making a product. If you can't sell your product, whether it's good or not, that sucks when that happens. But if you can't sell your product, that's fucking on you. That's your shit.
Yeah, that's how the world works.
Yeah. So. Anyway, fun little tidbit to add with something that'll be relevant here in a sec, but also Astrobot. So, but yeah, I'm glad. There's so many references in Astrobot, so I'm excited to experience them because I loved it in the last demo that came out for. I think that was for the DualSense, right? On PS5. That was like really fucking fun. So, anyway,
to play around with like all the haptic and stuff.
It was actually a really good demonstration.
Probably the best thing that controllers even made for.
Yeah, everyone kind of just gave up on it. So every once in a while, play a game that gives you a really solid vibration for things. I'm like, that's nice, but they don't use it to its full extent anymore. It's really crazy.
It's because people don't want to make games for one console. They want to make things for everything. So.
Yeah. I also think the gimmick of, and I'm saying gimmick lovingly because I love the DualSense, but like what it can do, but like. Early on, you're going to want to push that and go like, okay, we're going to put some extra time into all the vibrations that this controller can do. But later on, you're just mass producing these games and you're like, just give it the basic functionality, get it out. So makes sense. All right. Anything else though?
Nope.
All right. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of. What are you guys picking up? What have you picked up? And is there anything that wasn't on this list that you'd like to let us know is coming out in September as well? And give me your overall thoughts on everything that has to do with game releases in September. All right. Let's jump into what we've been playing and talk about the games we've been playing. Now, it's been a whole month since we did a Tasty Cast, so I'm not going to go through every little game I've ever experienced in that time, but I got a pretty decent list. So I'll just go first, kind of set the pace real fast. So I have played Quidditch Champions.
I have as well.
That name of that game is fucking, for some reason, really hard for me to say, and I don't know why. It's a simple name. But yeah, that's one of the games on PlayStation Plus. We'll be talking about that at the end of the month for Plus Club. If you don't know what that is, or maybe you're new here, we do a monthly show where we play the PlayStation Plus games, then we review them at the end of the month. So that's one of them. That's why we can't talk about it right now. But I have played it. I'm going to play it some more, but I don't know if there's much more I can experience with that game. So I guess we'll find out. I'd like to maybe play it. It's a multiplayer, right?
It does, yeah.
Should probably try that.
Sure.
I've also played Little Nightmares 2. I've put about 2 hours into it so far. It does not have multiplayer.
Oh, good to know. Okay, I'll just play it then.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of confirm that. I just kept playing it. So I already have footage for that as well. Yeah, so I'm kind of just ready for that, although I'm going to keep playing it. But yeah, I've put about 2 hours into it so far, and it's Little Nightmares. Apparently, I'm like already 15% through the game, too. It's fucking crazy. I have been playing more Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, even after our obligation of playing it last month. Probably will keep playing it on and off every once in a while. But in case you guys missed it, we reviewed that game for Game of the Month for August. That was a randomly picked game, and we're still playing it. So that's a pretty good sign. But if you want like a full discussion on that, go check out our review. But I'll just say that I'm playing the multiplayer component right now. I played it a little bit. Well, no, that was before filming. So I played by myself. I was catching up to where I thought you were at. You have like a level 100 character. I think I have like a level 86 dude now. So I'm getting close.
Yeah, partway through Extreme at this point. So.
Yeah, and I just got to Extreme. So I'll be playing through that some. But yeah, at some point, if we're all available, we can hop on and play it some more because it's a fun time. And then worth mentioning, but not really worth like, what I've been playing. I played Grand Blue Fantasy Relink a little bit, and then I was like, oh yeah, I bought Monster Hunter World and Rise on PC, which if you don't know, I played those back when they came out, specifically World. I played the fuck out of World, but I played it on PS4. And so I've been reluctant to want to restart. I have now bought it on PC because it was like $10 or something. It was like super cheap. I was like, I don't really have an excuse. Even if I don't play it, I'm okay with supporting it. But as if it needs it. But I've played through the tutorial, and it's been so long since I've played World and that portion of World that I forgot the tutorial was that fucking long. So I got that knocked out, so I can just start playing the game now, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I started doing that, or I went through the tutorial just because when I was playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, I was like, I kind of want to play Monster Hunter because this is pretty similar. So
just not as technical.
Yeah, definitely not. But it's fun. I like kind of the relaxed nature of it, except for the mechanics. Yeah. While we weren't doing Tastecast last month, I played through and beat Lords of the Fallen finally. I'm not going to go into every little detail. I'm just going to say that if you like Souls-likes and you skipped this game, I would recommend it to you. You should go back, even if you played it early on when it came out, and you're like, oh, it's buggy and has all these problems. It's mostly fixed now. The game is super solid. It's got a lot of bang for your buck, a lot of build potential. The multiplayer is like no bullshit. You just invite somebody into your game and you play. Bosses are challenging. I think it has a really good dodge system. You press dodge once and you kind of get some iframes and kind of bounce out of the way, but if you hit it twice you'll roll further, which is kind of a system I like to see in more games because it just works really well. a lot of weapons, a lot of armors, a lot of upgrades. There's so much to that game. You can get a lot of gameplay out of it. So it's not as tight and as well made as the FromSoft Souls-likes, but it's a very, very, very competent Souls-like, and looks really nice. It's on Unreal Engine 5, so it's a good-looking game. Also, the Emerald system, where you can go in and out of 2 different dimensions, is a really interesting mechanic that allows Lords of the Fallen to have a place in the Souls-like ecosystem, because so many games come out in that I'm like, you're just trying to make some money off the hype of these types of games, but you didn't really do anything. Unlike, games like Neo that are just like, oh, this doesn't even, I mean, it obviously is inspired by Souls-like games, but it's got that like Team Ninja pedigree too of their action games in the past. So it's like, it makes sense why it exists.
Also no BS multiplayer.
Yeah. Also fucking great games. So yeah, I could easily add Lords of the Fallen to that list of, if you like Souls-likes, you should play it. It's definitely better than most of the non-From Software ones. So, easily. I think it's on Game Pass too. Every time I got invaded, there's always some fucking dork on Xbox trying to get me. And not saying people who play on Xbox are dorks, but if you invaded my game, you're a fucking dork. And I killed most of you. Like one dude came in, his armor's on fire, he had crazy weapons. I'm like, I don't know what any of that shit is. And I almost killed him. I fucking ambushed him. I hid behind a corner. He came around. I was like, boom, boom, boom. I got him down to like a third of his health. And then he hit me once and killed me. And I was like, yeah, I almost had him, but
kind of the opposite problem. Like Souls game, usually it's the naked ones you got to be scared of.
Oh, for sure. No, it's different. Yeah, and in Lords of the Fallen, I looked at most of these dudes. I'm like, oh, I'll fucking wreck you. But yeah, in like Elden Ring or something, if a guy shows up and he has like no clothes on, I'm like, this guy's either an idiot or a master.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be very careful. But yeah, really strong recommendation for Lords of the Fallen. I would actually say you should check it out as well if it's ever on sale.
Got to beat Elden Ring still.
Sure. Because you are playing Elden Ring and giving Souls-likes more of a chance nowadays, I think you would like Lords of the Fallen. Oh my god. For anybody listening, I just drank something and
He's just dying. It's
went down wrong. On my list of games I've beaten recently, which is Grand Blue Fantasy, Lords of the Fallen, even though Grand Blue Fantasy is like, you access new stuff once you beat the game, so it's not, is it really beating the game? I beat the campaign. I also played through and beat Days Gone, which when people are like, that game should have had a sequel, it does. It's in the game. You play through that game for like 30, 40 hours, and then the sequel starts. And you start playing again. That game went on for fucking ever. For anybody curious, obviously Days Gone came out in 2019. I barely touched it then because first off, I was fatigued on zombie stuff, and I'm not into biker culture at all. Not talking shit about it. I'm just not into it. So that game really didn't have anything appealing for me. But I saw it on sale. I think it was like $7 or something on Steam. And I was like, maybe that game was good. I don't know. I've always heard good things about it. I just know it like undersold when it came out. And so, yeah, I bought it, played it. And last week when I was going through all my shit, I played primarily just it. And it's a pretty solid game. It's been out for a while, so I'm not going to talk spoilers. But basically, it's an open world zombie game. And the gameplay is, basically either going loud and shooting or sneaking around and taking out zombies and freakers and other humans, which I thought was pretty fun. I think it also has probably one of the most well-made motorcycles in a game. They
kind of a big shtick of it.
Yeah, but like they put the same amount of work that like Rockstar put into like their horse in Red Dead Redemption 2. Into this motorcycle. Like it's not just like driving on a flat plane and turning left and right. It's like the whole bike is like moving physics wise. Like the back end's kind of swinging out if you turn certain ways. When you go over like bumpy terrain. You can see it like moving over it. It's like really like they put a lot of work into it. And I know it's kind of a weird detail to notice, but I'm always noticing the fucking details. And I was like, this is really impressive what they did with this bike. So it is a huge part of it. Also, I was super impressed with the snow effects in the game. The game will like lightly start snowing, and you can kind of see the air get kind of like foggy-ish, and then like you see like light frost on the grass and the concrete, and then it slowly just kind of builds up, and it's like gorgeous looking. And I was like, they put some work into certain things, which it's really weird because other things, it's all like high quality AAA stuff, but certain things I was like, that's pretty impressive. Like, this is a PS4 game, and I'm playing on PC now, and I'm like, this looks and plays about the same as everything that's coming out right now. Like, it's about as AAA as games are now. It's as AAA as like Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, like, it's kind of crazy. Story is serviceable. It's fine. It definitely needed an actual sequel, but it's really weird. You play through like half the game. It's got the story arc. It has an ending. You beat the bad guy, and then it's like, I gotta go this direction now, and you drive over there and a whole new story starts, and then you go through that whole fucking story. And I was like, why'd you do this? Like, I guess if you love that game and you want to keep playing it, you're gonna be in heaven. But like, I started feeling fatigued on the second story because I was like, how long is this gonna go for? I almost have all my fucking skills unlocked and shit. Like, what the hell's happening here? What do you even need a new game plus for if I'm already gonna unlock everything just from playing this one playthrough? And then characters are kind of hit or miss. I mean, they're all fine, but they're so inconsistent, especially Deacon St. John, who's the main character. And that was played by Sam Witwer, who's a good actor, but he's fucking bizarre in that game. I think it's a director thing, because tonally he's like all over the fucking place. He goes from like really calm to like really fucking angry to just like sounding like a nutcase. He'll like smell freakers and start just talking to himself and going nuts. And I'm like, what happened to him? Does he have PTSD? Like, why the fuck's he act crazier than everybody else? His performance is just all over the place. It does feel like a director was just like, yeah, it's fine, accepts it and just moves on. Okay, that performance is fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway, Days Gone was fun. I would definitely recommend it if you, like me, never played it when it first came out. Playing a 2019 game in 2024. Yeah, pretty cool. And it kind of bummed me out too, because that game does feel like a game that should get a sequel. It does feel like the game kind of got wronged, but at the same time, I didn't pick it up when it first came out because it didn't look appealing to me, and that's not my fault. I'm not just going to buy games blindly. You need to advertise your game well. So, yeah. If I was going to grade Lords of the Fallen as a review, I'd be teeter-tottering between a B+ and A-. Probably on the B+ side, and then Days Gone I'd probably give somewhere between a B and a B+. So just throwing it out there real quick. Also, I put about 20 hours into Core Keeper. Core Keeper is a top-down Terraria style game. Sarah has been playing the fuck out of it.
I've noticed.
Yeah, I've barely heard from her when I'm not playing that game. 'Cause she's just playing the shit out of it. And last week I was like, she's like, you want to try like play this with me? I'm like, I wasn't even in the mood for a game like that, but I was like, yeah, I mean, probably should play something with you. So I like hopped in that game, and it's like crack. You like, it's just like in Terraria, you run around, you explore, you go into further and further biomes. Like I said, it's a top-down game. You basically find resources and craft things, and then with the things you crafted, you're able to access further and kill further things and level up and find new things to craft more things. Then you start creating automation, and you start getting technology that makes things easier to do. And then you have pets that level up, and it's a game that you could put easily hundreds of hours into. Like I said, I put about 20 hours into it, and it was a very easy 20 hours spent in that game. I actually didn't play it the other day because I knew if I did, I would just fucking, the day would melt away if I played it. So I am going to keep playing it, but I have to be responsible with my time with that game. But it's solid, and I think it's in 1.0 now. So I, again, would highly recommend that game as well if you like games like Terraria, Minecraft, any of these types of games where you're like crafting stuff constantly and fighting stuff. It's a really fucking solid game. I'm back playing the finals. I took a break from it for a while because there's these challenges that come out every like 3 weeks or whatever, and I had done all the stuff at the time that I was playing, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break, wait for all the challenges to come out, and then I'll just knock them out at the end of the fucking season. There's like 16 days left of season 3. Season 4 is coming. I know nothing about it, but I'm really fucking excited about it. But I've returned because I need to knock out all my challenges, get everything knocked out. I'm almost done. I'll be able to do it in probably about another day. Yeah, season 3 has been weird for the finals. It started out really fucking good, and then it just kind of didn't go anywhere. They've been really good about releasing cosmetics that you can buy with real money, and I've been doing that, but not a whole lot of like events and like fun, cool things. They tried a couple new things with World Tour this season, and I think that's where all their resources went. And they also allow you to unlock cosmetics through the challenges. So that's probably one of the reasons why they didn't do events where, you know, if you play this week, you'll get the cowboy outfit. So yeah, I think they just tried some new things. It didn't feel as exciting as season 2 in the way that they supported that. They also added the bonus tiers to the season pass or the battle pass in the beginning, which at first I thought was really good because I'm like, okay, cool, I can just knock it all out now. But now in retrospect, I looked at season 2 and they had allowed you to beat the season pass, battle pass, and then randomly they introduced some new tiers. And I was like, oh shit, I have to come back now. So I kind of like the way they did season 2 better in terms of release of content. But what they did release all at the beginning of the season was awesome. But as the season went on, it was easy for me to start playing other things. But I'm back, I'm playing it, I'm beating all the stuff. The finals is so fucking good. I like just playing it again. I'm like, I fucking love this game. There's like 2 first-person shooters, competitive first-person shooters that I think just like make it so easy for me to not give a shit about Black Ops 6. It's Hunt Showdown, even though it's in a weird place right now with 1886. Is that the new name? And then the finals. They're like so fucking good. And if I could recommend another game to you guys, the finals. Play the finals. It's free to play. Check it out. You've even played it before.
A little bit, yeah.
You should play it again, but maybe in season 4. But yeah, it's such a good game, and they're still maintaining players, which is nice. Like, they're not getting huge growth, but they're also, this isn't Concord. It didn't get shut down in fucking 11 days, which is insane. So I'm glad they've gotten to season 3 and season 4 here soon, and I wanted to not just sustain but thrive. I would like to see more people playing it. So if you're curious about that, you should check it out. It's also interesting too, the people at Embark were saying that they have 11 seasons already planned for the game. So I'm like, that's crazy. Although hopefully they're not listening too much to people on Reddit, because people on Reddit, what they want to see from the game is stuff that I think would ruin the game. People are like, we need cars, we need all these to drive around, and other people were like, that would ruin the point of like the movement in the game, which is like buttery smooth. It's so fucking good. And I'm like, yeah, there's like jump pads and shit like that would distract from driving around. People were like, these guys worked on, somebody said oh no, that Battlefield that was like cops and robbers, what the fuck was that called? Not Bad Company. It was like a cop-based Battlefield. People were like, these guys made that, and it's like, no, they didn't. That was fucking the people who made Dead Space, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, they tried to say that as a way to justify adding vehicles to the finals. I'm like, don't add vehicles to the finals. Like, it doesn't need that unless it was like a moped or like a little Vespa scooter. But we don't need vehicles. And then other people want people to start like implementing, or they want Embark to start implementing like buffs. Like, light should have all these buffs, and medium should have all these buffs, so you can get your shields up and stuff. And it's like, I don't want to turn into fucking like MMO PvP. Like, it's not Team Fortress. It's not fucking Overwatch. Like, it doesn't need all that stuff. Just more creative ways to play, more destructibility, more tools. That's what the finals needs. So, but I trust Embark to figure that out, not people on Reddit. So, yeah, finals great. fucking love it. Can't wait for season 4. And then the last game I've played, I haven't played enough to really talk about it too much, but I did pick up Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I didn't buy the $90 fucking version of the game that allowed you 4 days early access, which would have been cool. And you get the season pass, which is nice. I think the season pass is $40, but you get it for $30 because you're buying the game for $60 and then $90. So you're saving $10. I get that, but I was like, $90 is fucking, that's a steep ask. So, so I waited, I picked it up, and obviously if I'm still playing it when the new content comes out, I will gladly spend the $40 on the season pass because I will want to support them. But it's funny, Space Marine 2, coming from my experience with prior Saber games, Saber Interactive, people make it. By the way, World War Z is our game of the month, which is odd. This game is a weird amalgamation of Evil Dead the game, which is the game they made, and World War Z. You literally just fight hordes of enemies, just like in World War Z. They flood in, they build up against walls and climb them and stuff, just like in World War Z. And then it has like an execution system that reminds me a lot of Evil Dead. So it's like, it's an interesting amalgamation of those two games. But it is really cool so far. I've only played the campaign by myself. I'd like to play with people. But it's a really nice looking game. It feels AAA. It definitely is the highest quality game I've played from Saber Interactive. It has a cinematic quality I've never seen in a 40k game, Warhammer in general. So that's been really cool. The story's actually interesting so far. The performances are well done. Combat's interesting because it has a mix of shooting and melee combat, and they definitely want you using both. It's not just like you can choose one or the other, but there's so many enemies coming at you most of the time that you're shooting when you need to shoot, and you're fighting when they get in your face because you don't have a choice. Sometimes there'll be like snipers out in the distance, or before they get there, you pull out your machine gun and start unloading into them. But they're going to get in your face, and you're going to start fighting through them. It has kind of a God of War feeling combat system without being as technical, but you are just like swinging. You're holding your attack button down to do like end of combo moves, finish or stuff like that. It has a dodge system, kind of like Lords of the Fallen, where you dodge once, or if you hit it twice, you roll, which is funny to watch these big ass fucking Space Marines roll. And then it has a like counter parry system, which I think is interesting as well. Like enemies will like flash blue, and that means to counter them. You can dodge as well, but you can counter that attack, or if it's red, you can't counter it, so you have to choose how you want to take care of that. But typically, you just dodge out of the way. I'm not fully used to the combat yet because it's like on PC, left click is shoot, right click is melee, middle mouse is aim, which is really fucking weird. Counter was C, but I switched that over to my side mouse button, just so all my combat's on one hand. And then switching your weapon is V, which is fucking weird. The button scheme's weird. It makes sense once you play the game enough, but it is. I was going through the tutorial. I was like, this is weird. This is a weird control scheme. But I'm surprised they didn't do what they did with World War Z. What is it? World War Z? One of their games, you just like if you click, how's that work? No, there's a dedicated melee button. Never mind.
You're talking about Remnant?
I am talking about Remnant. I wish they would have done that.
Yeah, when you're not down scope, you're doing melee.
Otherwise,
you down scope, you're shooting.
Yeah, 100% Remnant. I was like, what game does that? It's like a game I've played a lot of. Yeah, that would have been a cool system to just like click and swing, and then when you aim, you shoot. But they allow you to kind of like one-handed shoot and then swing or aim. And so I get what they're trying to do, and it's not bad. You just got to get used to it. It's just like, it's not a standard layout for this kind of game, but it's also not a standard playing third-person shooter. So, Anyway, I'm really, really liking it. It definitely, I really like I really like the game. I also am interested in Warhammer after I've played a bunch of Warhammer games now. I only can imagine if you're already a Warhammer fan, though, from like the tabletop experience, what this game would be like for you, though, because like it's super fucking immersive. It's really high quality. It's fucking cool. So I'm really liking it. I'm gonna keep playing it. I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. People keep saying it's the fucking Helldivers killer. I'm like, no. They're not the same. They play completely different. But something happened with Helldivers that people are like upset and they want that game to fail now. I'm just like, I can't keep up with that. I liked Helldivers, so
It was after the account thing, and then they said they're going to back out on it, and then they didn't. They said they were going to, but it's still unavailable in a lot of countries.
Yeah. People are like talking like they want Helldivers 2 to die and shit. I'm just like, I don't care. What I played,
typical internet shit.
Sure. If you want to protest something, that's fine. But I think Helldivers 2 is fucking super solid. So, and I don't think this game in any way replaces it because they don't even play the fucking same. So, they're both co-op shooters, and you fight like hordes of things, but the way you go about missions is not remotely close to the same thing. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep playing that. I'll keep you guys up to date on my my experience with it. So that's the games I'm playing.
Let's see. I also played Quidditch. Can't really talk about it. I played MLB The Show, whatever year this one is.
24.
Also a plus game. Can't really talk about it. I did play a full 9-inning game though, so I might try to play another one. I forgot how long baseball is, so but I'll have opinions. So I also, just to throw it out there, from Washington, played the Mariners. So
Makes sense.
yeah. Let's see what else is a quick one. I played Relink a little bit. We already kind of brought it up. I hit level 100. I'm working on getting my weapon to 150 because the material requirement jumped quite a bit to this for this stage. And I'm also starting to work on making my NPC companions more powerful because I kind of ignored them. So they do fine, but they obviously could do better. So that's kind of my goal right now in that game. I am playing it kind of spotty because at this point it's just a grinding game.
Yeah,
the story's over. So, but it's a lot of fun. You can get our full, obviously, review, like Seth mentioned earlier, on here on the channel
with gameplay and everything.
Yep. Been on and off again playing Final Fantasy 14. Hop on, I do some dailies, level up some stuff a little bit. I'm trying not to go like too crazy on it because I just really don't want to burn out. We have been kind of raiding. Adulting is hard when you have 8 adults and one person has an issue. We just don't raid that day. So, and then with a bunch of vacations coming up, it's gonna be really rough. So, enjoying it. We almost got the first fight down. We got it down to about 4% health. So we were right there before Enrage happened.
Damn.
And killed us all. Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah. So we just need to have time. I think the only window we have at this point is it's like the 27th or 28th, whatever of those days is a Saturday, before I go to Japan. So then I'll be gone for a little over 3 weeks. So
that's in October, right?
Most of October. Yep.
Yeah. So during that time, probably won't be doing taste casts, but I'll be doing
other content.
Doing content for sure. Yeah.
What else have I been playing? I played.
You should do. I don't know if you'd want to. You and Chris should do like a vlog.
That might be tough because I'm not the most creative individual. But
just be like, hey, day 1, we're here. This is what we're doing today. We're eating here. This is good. This is bad. This is shit. This is the best thing I've ever had in my life.
No promises.
Yeah. If you did, though, it'd be cool.
Yeah, that's the idea of turning a camera on and talking to myself is really hard. So
turn on Chris.
Let's see. I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. In fact, last night finished my Chocobo races I can move on in the story now. So I have motivation to play it again. So whenever I have some free time, whether that's after we film, which probably not, or, throughout the week, I'm going to try to get through that game now because I was at a pretty bad hang up there. And not because it wasn't fun, it was because it was a lot of busy work and I just didn't want to do it.
Dude, I should have played that over fucking last week.
Yeah.
Not Days Gone, dude. What the fuck's wrong with me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get that done, so I'm not like beating it when the third one's coming out.
That came out this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll at least beat it so you can talk about it at the end of the year for our Game of the Year discussion.
Yeah.
It might be in the running.
I feel like I played something else. Maybe that was it. Yeah, I think that's it. If I can't remember it, it didn't matter. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been playing.
I almost forgot I played Days Gone and I beat that shit. So
I feel like I played something else, but I just cannot think of it right now. So
that's fair.
But yeah, I mean that's mostly what I've been playing. I gotta get Rebirth finished. I got other games I've bought and I just have not played, so I'd like to start them at least. So
yeah, I need to get, even though I'm not in a rush to do it, I want to beat Space Marine 2. I also want to do the multiplayer component. It also has fucking PvP and shit, which is really cool. But I think it's only like a 10-hour campaign, so that's like nice and bite-sized. Yeah. Whereas like Days Gone was like, I think it was like 42 hours. Took me to beat that shit, and I think I have 60 hours in it. So, yeah, I'll take something that's.
Yeah, I don't have very many bite-sized games right now. It kind of sucks. I have a lot of big games.
There's a bunch of games I want to play. They're all fucking RPGs. And then that Fantasio game
Next month
is coming out, and that game looks awesome.
You already know it's going to be over 100 hours, though.
Yeah, and it can't be under. Like, it's going to be huge. So, especially with what they said, like, you're going to be able to pick classes with characters and stuff. I'm like, that just sounds like a deep...
looks fun, man.
Just looks like a deep game, dude. And then Stalker comes out this year, I believe. Still, did it get delayed? I don't remember, but yeah, I got a bunch of stuff coming up I got to play. So.
Oh, and yeah, I want to pick up Visions of Mana. That came out too, and it's gotten positive reviews.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't realize that was out.
Yep, it's out. The team is getting dissolved, but it's out.
And I got to beat fucking Infinite Wealth. Although that game, the story kind of started dragging, so which sucks because the one before that was so fucking good. But gameplay wise, it's better. But I need to sit down and finally beat that shit. So
running out of year.
Yeah, I thought I had plenty of year left, and now I'm running out like really quick. So it fucking sucks.
I also want to play that Metaphor game next month. I bought Unicorn Overlord, and I just have not played it.
I really want to play that too.
There's a lot of RPGs. It's rough. It's rough having a job and then trying to have video games as a hobby sometimes. So
true.
And I don't. I see why people fall into endless games so often because it's just like
it's easy,
something you can just like shut your brain off and play when you're done with work. And I enjoy that to an extent, but I'm just like kind of missing out on these big games because of it.
I think that's why I sat down and just beat a game that I had never played before, really, because I was like, fuck it. I bought like a month ago The Witcher 3 on PC.
Yeah.
Because I want to play through. Like, I never did the DLCs when that was out, and everybody tells me Blood and Wine and the other one's like really good. And so I'm like, I might just go back and play those. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games are you looking forward to playing? What games would you recommend us play? Because I recommended you a bunch of fucking games, which is nice because, most of those games I played, I thoroughly enjoyed. So, and yeah, let us know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to games we've played and games you've played. All right. We got some videos to watch, and the first one is mostly for me, but Chevy obviously can have his opinion. This is Dead Island 2 official neighborhood watch reveal trailer. Speaking of recommendations, if you didn't play Dead Island 2, it was better than it deserved to be, especially after the development hell it went through, where the original people working on it, all of them got axed and it got given to a different developer, and they somehow released a super solid zombie melee game that has some of the best gore effects I've seen in any game ever. So just throwing that out there. With that, I'm really curious to see how they're going to support this game, because this official Neighborhood Watch reveal trailer, I guess, is like a brand new mode coming out for the game. I don't know much about it, but if it gives me a reason to come back and play it, I'd be happy, because I beat Dead Island 2 and really enjoyed my time with it, but didn't feel inclined to play through the campaign again. So I'll be curious to see what this is. Chevy, you have any opinions on Dead Island 2?
No, because I didn't play it. So
Yeah. I think you might enjoy it. It's not like a fucking jump scare type game. It's just like brawling in the streets of California.
A little bit low priority for me. So.
Sure. Yeah. It was a fun game, though. I really liked it. All right, let's watch this and find out what all the hubbub is about. This is official Neighborhood Watch reveal trailer on 3, 2, 1, go. New co-op horde
Welcome to
mode.
Neighborhood Watch, a brand new co-op horde experience set in the Venice canals. You and your friends will play as the Bobcats, a ragtag group
Oh,
of
so you're playing
college
different
kids
characters.
left behind in the LA evacuation. With 5 days to prepare before an undead horde descends on your shelter, you'll spend the first 4 days gathering supplies and completing objectives, readying yourselves for the final wave of zombies.
Interesting.
But before venturing out, you'll need to assemble your squad. Each Bobcat offers a unique class with signature weapons,
Weird.
talents, and abilities to level up and customize. The Chemist class specializes in cooking up corrosive booby traps and explosive
This is all, like,
concoctions,
new
ideal
content.
for giving the undead a warm welcome to the
I don't
neighborhood.
know much about the game, but it doesn't
Medics
seem like the
are a
same game.
pivotal part of any
Uh-oh.
successful team. They can drop deployable med stations for healing and even
these are like new
assist
assets.
teammates
This isn't
to
just
help
like
stack
a-
the odds in your favor. And last
Same
but
bullshit.
not least, with their signature crossbows, meat stick traps, firecrackers, and throwing knives. Hunters prefer to keep the streets clean by dealing heavy damage from a distance. In Neighborhood Watch, there is no fury mode to get you out of a tight spot. So playing to each other's strengths and working as a team is key to survival.
Interesting.
As each day passes, you'll earn the chance to unlock powerful rewards, like new abilities, rare weapons, traps, and shelter defenses. But with only one reward to choose from each day, you'll need to pick wisely as you
So it's
gear
kinda
up
like a
for
rogue
the impending
play.
siege. On the 5th and final day, you'll need to fortify your shelter
Okay, so you
with the
still fight
DIY
with zombies,
defenses
just
you've
not
unlocked throughout
the
your
big-
playthrough. And get ready
Yeah.
for an intense, wave-based scenario that will test not only your skills, but your ability to work as a team. The only question that remains is, are you ready? Welcome to the Watch, Bobcats. See you in LA.
That was actually way more than I was expecting. Oh, that's what the Ultimate Edition is. I saw that advertised the other day. I was like, what's the ultimate aspect of that? Okay, so they're adding a horde mode, but it's not just a typical horde mode where they put you in a location and you defend. It seems like there's kind of a roguelite system where you're accumulating defenses and weapons and stuff and trying to hold off on the last day. They've added new characters with new classes that have new abilities, which is pretty crazy because like none of this was offered in the original game. I also think it's interesting too that they said you can't use your fury mode or whatever the hell it's called, your feral mode, which is something you could do in the campaign that allowed you to go kind of crazy and use it in a tight spot, but that you don't have that in this mode. It definitely seems like they're thinking about it being more team centric. Also that they have their own little skill trees is really neat as well. So I actually really like this a lot. It's more than just a horde mode, which I think is really cool. I also like that, like I was saying before, I played through the game. I really enjoyed playing it. But I don't know if I'd want to play through the campaign again. But the combat system's really fucking good. So something like this is like perfect for, people, for instance, if like Josh also beat the campaign and we didn't want to co-op through the campaign again, you just play this mode and just get right into the action, have still an objective and things to work towards. So it's a really cool idea, and I'm glad that they not just are only supporting the game, but also being creative with what they're doing. So I actually think it's really cool, and I'll definitely be checking it out when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if like, you're a person who enjoyed the game, it's just more of the game to play, and it is I don't know how repeatable for how long, but it is a repeatable mode that you can at least get some time out of.
Yeah.
I don't know what the longevity is. I mean, it's fun enough. You won't need that too much, but
people play fucking COD Zombies over and over and over again just to see how far they can get.
Yeah, for sure. Though on day 5 it's just waves and waves and waves until you die. Then is that the?
I don't know. I assume that you can win, but maybe there's difficulties. I don't know.
Yeah. And then it's got enough like options, it looks like, with the skill trees and stuff to kind of like play around with builds and play styles a little bit. It doesn't look like crazy deep, but it's also like more than I would expect from like a DLC. So
yeah, I agree. All right, anything else?
Nope.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of the official Neighborhood Watch reveal trailer. Does it seem interesting to you? Anything there that looks exciting for you? Does it look like not enough for you? Did you ever even play Dead Island 2? And if you didn't, why didn't you play it? And if you did play, what'd you think of it? And let us know everything you think about the comments below when it comes to Dead Island 2 and its upcoming Horde mode. All right, next video is the one you may be here for. This is the PS5 Pro technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. This was shown technically yesterday.
Let that guy out of the basement, huh?
And it is, somebody said last time we saw this guy was in 2020, which is just funny that people are keeping track of when he shows up. But this is the big reveal of the PS5 Pro, something that everybody's known is coming forever. A lot of people are like, this wasn't a well-kept secret. It's like, pro consoles are a normal thing. Like, people are expecting
generally about halfway through a cycle,
a standard practice of making pro consoles. I know Xbox said that they're not interested in doing a refresh. I'll be curious to see what they do after this. But this has been revealed. I haven't watched this at all. I have seen a lot of info on it though on X, so it'll be more interesting for me to see it in a presentation. Really excited to find out what they're bringing to the table with this. I do know the price point. We'll discuss that after. I have thoughts on that as well. We actually discussed it in the Discord. I would say link down below, but I haven't fixed that link yet. I need to do that.
Eventually down below.
Yeah, but we discussed it a little bit in the Discord, and that was actually a fun little conversation we had. So thoughts on this before we jump in, Chevy? Are you in the market for a pro console?
Currently, no. I'm barely using my consoles in general. I'm going to be real specific about lumping them all together because it's not a PlayStation issue. It is I play my PC all the time.
And people are making that easier and easier to play the games that would be exclusives on console over on PC. So.
Yeah, with the exception of Nintendo, but their system is old at this point, and so it's harder for me to be excited to use it. There are games in there I love, but I just don't have a huge draw right now to be playing on there. So no, I'm not in the market just because it would be effectively a paperweight right now. If I were to be playing games, or there were games coming out down the road that were exclusive to a PlayStation console and required the energy, or not the energy, the power boost to run better, I would probably think about it at that point. But I don't know. I don't think it's not a very black and white issue for me right now. The answer is no. So
yeah, I kind of am in a similar boat. but I'll discuss that after. I want to get all the details, and then we'll talk about it. So yeah, let's just jump into this. This is a 9-minute video. This is the PS5 Pro technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. In 3, 2, 1, and go. I got a lot of thoughts on this. I just don't want to talk about it right now.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second.
Nice words.
PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
It's definitely the PS5 superpower.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are.
I never heard that.
Returnal, yeah.
Finally,
It's on
the
PC, you should
DualSense
pick it up. It's
controller
got
has
co-op.
haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically
anyone
through
who plays
higher
Fidelity.
resolution rendering.
Not a single
I will
person.
for a little bit
These
to
modes
appreciate
might
the
also have
graphics.
enhanced
but, yeah, I
detail
have to go
or
back to
use more ray
performance.
tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive.
Oh, are they choppier?
Performance modes
There's a lot of
emphasize
people who
frame
fucking
rate
act
and
like 30 frames per
interactivity,
second isn't.
typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second. Mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Yeah, okay.
Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the
Threw me off.
memory it
That's
uses.
a term
The
for
result is rendering that's up to 45%
the 3 big animes.
faster.
So,
Second,
Or mangas,
we
I
made
should say.
major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games.
Okay.
Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore
Yeah, it's much
choppier.
better and smoother, obviously. Like, but better
This
looking.
goal
which
of
is cool.
delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, we can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5.
Oh, I already have that on PC. I'm fine.
Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
Oh,
For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer.
Yeah, okay.
And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene,
Sharper.
including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects.
That's great. That game was already like really good looking.
As well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open
But
up, guys.
In fidelity mode, you got to turn on performance to get the smooth, buttery gameplay. And
Ray tracing is
miss
finding
out on all those
broad usage as
graphics.
well,
Right.
particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay,
Hell yeah.
while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better
Yeah.
reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces,
Whatever happened
but
to that
also
game?
for further realism in the casting of shadows.
It's a single-player game.
I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro.
Oh, so is this over?
Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
Okay.
You'll never break a legend.
Saw this already, but
Man, they really have not deviated a lot with the three models now. They're all pretty similar.
yeah, which is weird because a lot of times they look pretty different,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
thematically are kind of similar. But they're just really obsessed with that line.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Yeah, some people saying that it's not enough of a difference, but it's huge to me.
What's with all the neon?
I agree with you. I think it's huge, but I also think for the majority of consumers, it really isn't that much.
No, I completely agree with you on that though, because people still don't know what ray tracing is. People still don't know how to see it. People still can't tell the difference between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of people aren't going to see the difference. But I mean, this is like way sharper than what we're getting currently. And then the frames per second is fucking smooth as shit. Okay, so $699.99, so $700 for this thing. November 7th, so come out this year. None of this means anything to me. Okay. Now I did read that the vertical stand and disk drive, which I believe is the same one that works for the PS5 already.
The Slim.
The Slim.
Yeah.
Are things you have to buy additionally. So people are saying, even though I don't agree with this statement, people are like, well, it's actually an $800 console because that stuff should come with it. I understand the argument. I don't agree with it because certain people are not going to care about that disk drive. And
I think most people aren't, because even like I have a disc version of
Yeah.
the
I don't-
PS5, and I've put one disc in it.
I don't use it. But I like to have it in
Sure.
case. So, but I'm a guy who likes options, and I'll spend the money for that. But yeah, I think a lot of people aren't going to care about that. And then the vertical stand, that's like a per situation. Like, if you're in a situation, maybe you already have your PS5 and you want to replace it, and you have a vertical, of course you're going to want that vertical stand. But some people might have it sideways, and they're not even going to think about it. So that's going to be a per person thing. So I do think those things being optional is fine. It would be preferable if they weren't. Like, if it just came like that, that'd be great. But I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think the stand's a little bit of a weird one because, like, at the end of the day, it's like plastic. They could have thrown that in the box.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get the complaint there. They can afford a plastic stand.
Yeah.
The disk drive being optional, I think, makes complete sense. Most people, if I were to make a guess, play digitally. So.
I think, well, yeah, and they got those numbers too. But I love that they have the option still. When people are like, oh, the future, there won't be any physical media, and it's like, that would suck. But I understand why people would think that, but I'm glad they are still making room for people who want the physical media.
Well, it also still serves as a disc player for people who want to use it for anything other than games.
Yep.
And I know that's also a niche thing these days too, but there are people who still buy movies, so physically.
Yeah. Yeah, again, options. I like options. Okay, so basically, it's more powerful. It's got better ray tracing, and it's got a AI upscaling. Did they say storage space? Is it 1 terabyte?
If they did, I missed it.
I think I read that somewhere. Let me know in the comments. I'm not going to sit here and just pretend I know, but I think I read somewhere it's a 1 terabyte. But yeah, $700 for that. How do we feel about that?
I can't because I don't know what the GPU is, which I think is kind of a...
Somebody said it's the equivalent of a 470 or 490.
4090, 4070,
40. Yeah.
If it's a 4090 at $700, then that's fine.
Yeah, they were saying, from what I read, that for the same price, you would just get the graphics card.
Yeah, GPUs are expensive.
Yeah, sure. So they're saying that, if you're going to build a PC, you would have to buy that and a bunch of shit, but you're getting the whole package here. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it is equivalent to a 4090, I think it's $700. Obviously, if you have a PlayStation, it's going to be a harder sell because, like, it's a lot of money to just upgrade something you already have. But, like, people in the market, or like if you have your console's breaking or something like that and you just want to upgrade, I think for what it is, the price is fine. I don't think for most people's wallets right now, it's tricky because it's not a good time for expensive purchases, I think, for most people. So but I'm thinking about it in the as someone who plays like a PC a lot, like my GPU was like $1,200.
yeah.
So it's, I don't know, it's kind of a different viewpoint, I guess, that I'm looking at it than most console gamers who just play console aren't going to be thinking that way. It's the box they hook up to their TV so they could sit at their couch and just play a video game. And I get that. So I do think it's a bit of a big ask in that regard. But if you're a tech person, you probably are enjoying it. I do know, due to your interactions on Twitter, I've seen some of the discourse around it, and I have seen a few people make some pretty large complaints about, like, just thinking this thing's completely useless. And I would argue, as a comparison, people buy phones every year.
Yeah.
And that's a 4-digit price tag yearly. I would say, if that's okay, why is the console not? So, I don't know. Just a thought. So.
Yeah, you might be referring to some guy saying anybody who buys this is an idiot or something like that.
Probably.
And I was just saying that, yeah, so are people who are worried about how other people spend their fucking money. Like,
yeah, well, I'm just bringing a perspective, the price point as well. Like, there are people who every year will buy a new phone, which in my mind is crazy because, like, they don't change that much.
Yeah.
you could make the argument with this, but I could also just make the argument of like it's cheaper than the phone. Now it does do less than the phone. It's not portable. There's a lot of discussion to be had there. So just kind of keep those things in mind, I guess. So.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't really have any strong opinions about the price point outside of more of a conversation of how I view it. So first off, this thing seems like a really great upgrade for somebody who is locked into just PS5. If you're on PC, hopefully you have something that makes this not really, and even if you don't, you can always upgrade. You already have a step in the door if you have a PC already, but if you are just a console player, this is a significant upgrade. You're going to get better performance at higher graphics. People are going to be able to do special things for the Pro. We saw that with the PS4 Pro. Monster Hunter World was much better on Pro than it was on the original PS4, and other games, of course. There is a significant difference that I saw. I think a lot of people aren't going to see that, though. I also read that they're going to be able to play Gran Turismo at 8K, which is fucking crazy. Also, being able to play that in ray tracing is awesome because that's what everybody wanted. Now you're going to be able to do it. But yeah, I keep thinking about, like, who is this for? Because it should be for me, because I'm a guy who, like, every time there's new tech, I want to fucking buy it. I've always bought Pro consoles, like, pretty quickly as soon as they come out. This is the first time I feel like I don't need to, which kind of fucking sucks, because a part of my brain is like, you want that. You want that thing. And I do, but I don't know if I need to rush out and get it when it launches at $700. I was asked in the Discord if I thought that was too much, and I think on a consumer basis, yeah, I think it is a lot. And people are like, well, this is what you're getting. I completely agree with you on that. Like, for me personally, $700 makes sense. You're getting more than just the graphics card. You're getting the whole ability to play games for $700. It makes sense if you know where hardware's at right now. But for the average consumer who already feels deflated with this generation, both with Xbox and PlayStation, people talk constantly about how there's, like, not enough next gen games, and I kind of agree with that, but kind of don't. I can't imagine a lot of people are going to run out and want to spend another $700, trade in their PS5 and whatever you're going to pay after that for this upgrade. Of course, people are going to buy it. Like, fucking Sony knows how to sell consoles. The PlayStation has never had issues selling. And people even said the PlayStation Portal wasn't going to sell because who the fuck's going to buy it? And you couldn't get one for months because they were just boom, boom, boom being sold constantly. So I think this thing will definitely sell. I think, I forgot what the projection was. They expect to sell a lot of them, but they're projecting it, I think, 2 million less than the PS4 Pro. So they're being realistic about it, I guess. But I'm thinking about how dissatisfied people feel with this generation in general. The high price point in a time where the economy is completely fucked. Inflation's crazy. People just don't have a lot of extra money right now. And $700 is fucking steep for anything. In fact, early on, this was before where we are now, where I'm like, yeah, with inflation it makes sense. I had said that I don't think they can go over $600 for a Pro console, because who the fuck's going to spend $600? We learned these lessons with the PS3. Some people will buy it, but until the price comes down, people aren't buying that shit.
That was $600
then. For sure. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, but we learned that lesson. Like, there is such thing as, like,
too much,
asking too much, even if that's what it's worth. And I feel like this is going to be similar. I'm really curious to see what the sales are going to look like on this thing, because even me, somebody who doesn't think $700 is too much, and I would be willing to pay $700 for something I feel like I want right now, I don't feel that way with this Pro, because I already don't feel like I'm playing my PS5 enough as is.
Yeah.
And so as much as I fucking love the idea of better graphics, running smoother, the AI upscaling sounds fucking cool, being able to play Gran Turismo at higher graphics and with ray tracing sounds amazing. Those aren't...
Not that I know anyone with an 8K TV.
sure.
Yeah.
But you can play it with the ray tracing without being 8K.
Yeah,
you
no,
can play
yeah.
it 4K at 60 frames per second, which is fucking cool. And it's already a really, pretty game anyway. It's only gonna look better with the ray tracing while you're racing. Even with all those things, none of that. It's not that I couldn't buy the $700 console. None of that's worth $700 to me right now. Like, so if I'm not going to rush out and buy this thing, there's got to be other people in a similar mindset who are thinking about it in a fair way of going like, maybe I'll just wait on that. And then of course you have people who are like, what the fuck? You're charging $700 for this? I don't understand why. That's too much money. And then you have people who, aren't just going to have that. They're not, regardless of their opinion, even if they want or not, they're not going to be able to spend fucking $700 on a new console.
Yeah.
So
then the flip side of that too, there's people who aren't even going to think about it. So
sure, yeah. Well, there's definitely going to be people who just buy the new fancy thing.
Yeah.
And I'm typically one of those fucking people, but I'm having reservations because I'm already not playing my PS5 enough. They're making all these things not exclusive, so I can use my DualSense on my computer if I really want that experience. But there are some games I can't play on PC still. But for the most part, I'm having less and less reasons to use my PS5 as is. So like the idea of having a more powerful PS5, I'm just like, I could just buy a better fucking graphics card. Seems like a better investment because I get my PC for more than just gaming. So, yeah, it's interesting. The $700 makes sense to me. I'm not complaining about that price point, but for a consumer point of view, it seems fucking steep. Even if you can justify it, it's a lot to ask.
it is for sure.
So I can't even go like, oh, this thing's gonna sell really well, or this thing ain't gonna fucking sell. I'm really curious to see what the sales look like, especially right now. Like we're seeing a big rejection of AAA games by a lot of people right now, like in a way that's actually affecting Ubisoft and other companies, fucking Sony with Concord. People are going, nah, we're not gonna play your game, and they got to cancel the game, or they're going like, the only reason I'm even bring up games and people rejecting stuff is like, I feel like now more than ever, if enough people think $700 is too much, they might reject buying that thing too. So PSVR 2, I think is selling better now, but like when it first came out, a lot of people were like, well, that's still too expensive for VR. VR is a gimmick. And I'm like, that's one of the best price points you're going to get for fucking VR. So yeah, this whole generation's been really, really interesting for games, but also hardware.
I think it's skewed too, because people look at the meta and go, well, I can get VR for cheaper, here type of thing. To each their own, obviously. I would never buy a meta. So
You mean the Quest or whatever?
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
The
I would never own a Facebook Meta fucking headset ever, even if it had the coolest features. I'm not linking my social media or being locked into what I do on social media and my access to the hardware I bought. It's fucking. I guess you can make a case for you can get banned on any console you buy, but
True.
It's a little more personal when it's through Facebook. But yeah, overall, I do have a loose interest in buying a Pro. I think I will buy one eventually. But I, for the first time in a long time, don't think I need it day one, which kind of disappoints me on a personal level because I love new tech. But it's hard to justify $700 for something I'm not like excited to use, except for a couple experiences. Also, this is a nitpick. This isn't really. I kind of don't like the way the console looks. That wouldn't change it. I'm buying for the hardware, but like I just think this is excessive and kind of dumb looking, which is weird because I like the way the other ones look. But
I mean, it pretty much looks exactly the same to me.
yeah,
so.
it just has extra notches and it kind of looks like an accordion or something. Like it would have been cool to see like a more pro interesting design, something that really shows it off, and that's just
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from on it.
It's barely.
My brain just sees vents, so.
Sure. Yeah, but the vents are on the inside.
They're also on the sides now.
Are those vents?
They look like vents.
I thought that was just the design. Because because the vents should be all through up here
Right.
and at the top. But
Yeah, the
maybe
normal ones.
maybe they're vents. I don't know.
I just figured it was more
Yeah, maybe.
airflow, but
I mean, if that's the case, I can appreciate the functionality aspect of it. But yeah, I just was hoping for something different looking. So, especially because the PS4 Pro just was like a fatter PS4, but it still like looked different. I didn't like the slim model. I hated the way that thing looked, but yeah, it's not a big deal. That wouldn't deter me from buying the thing. Obviously, like I said, I would want the performance, but $700 is just a little too steep to play around with for me in terms of like, well, I'm kind of interested in what they're going to do with this. So
I'm also looking at that poor yen amount. Holy crap.
yeah, well, you saw that Japan and I think the UK are getting the Concord tax. Everybody's calling it. So Concord failed, and they didn't make fucking anything off that. I think it's like 40,000 units sold or something like that. It's like really bad for a big AAA 8-year development game. And so they upped the prices of controllers in Japan by $5, and I think the UK as well. And that's to make up over time money they lost on Concord. I think consoles went up too. I think it went up by $50.
Well, so the yen has strengthened lately, but the yen was like really weak for a while there. It was like 166, 167 or something like that to the dollar, and now it's 142. So it's getting better, but their buying power just sucks right now. So
Sure, but they had a price point and then they raised it. And they did the same thing, I believe, in the UK. So a lot of people are speculating that's them. That's the Concord tax people are calling it because they're trying to recoup losses of that game. It's interesting. It's interesting to see this far into the console cycle prices going up because that's typically not how things go. So. But yeah, $700 comes out in November. I fucking feel so disappointed in myself that I like don't want to rush out and grab this, but I guess that'll leave at least one available for anybody who has to run out and grab it in November. So, because with new consoles and new hardware, these things get sold out really quickly. So, but I think eventually I'll get one when the prices come down. And yeah, anything else you want to say on that?
I mean, I've never bought a Pro anything, so probably not.
You haven't?
Never.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got the Monster Hunter PS4 Pro, and I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it. Just because I still think the PS4 is like one of the best consoles ever made. It was one of the best generations in gaming, outside of like the PS2, Xbox 360. So many great games, but also that it has like a Monster Hunter design on it. I'm like, that's fucking cool. It's still cool. So
Yeah.
I still have the controller too, but I think I was getting stick drift, but it's like a red controller with like Monster Hunter designs on it and shit. It's really neat. But and we don't have shit like that on this fucking generation.
Nope, but you can buy custom plates. So
Yeah, but I don't think there's any official designs that are like
probably not
more than colors, so it's kind of disappointing. But again, and I don't want to. We talked about this for so many fucking years after 2020, but the pandemic obviously played a factor early in this generation on like dev cycles and problems. I think this whole generation's kind of scuffed from that. And so like when people are like, oh, this is wrong with this generation, I think the generation started in a really dumb place. And I just think it kind of threw everything off. So, because yeah, we're not getting, a pro console with special stuff. We're not getting, all the stuff we got in prior generations. So, yeah. Anything else? Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the PS5 Pro. I talked about the PS4 way more than I needed to. technical presentation. What do you guys think about the release date? What do you think about the price point? What do you think about what we're getting with this? What do you think about the difference in graphical fidelity? Are you in the market for the PS5 Pro? Are you looking to buy it day one? Are you going to wait it out? Are you not interested in it at all? Are you playing your PS5? If you are, what are you playing on there? And where are you coming from when it comes to the way you look at this? Are you just on console? Are you a PC player and a console player? Are you on PC and you're like, why the hell would anybody buy that? And yeah, let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to the PS5 Pro. I feel like there's a lot to discuss on this one. So I think that's probably going to do it for this episode of TastyCast. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. And thank you for joining me, Chevy, for this conversation. We originally were going to do a reaction to Dragon Age Veilguard because we've been slacking on talking about that. So maybe we'll just do a TLG Reacts to that because we have some videos lined up, but it'd be too long for this TastyCast. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, until then, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.